Welcome back, everyone, and happy Christmas to you all, and a happy New Year too. Best wishes from Gethin to all of you and your families at this time. And tonight we've got another review of another Doxa, and this one is really special. It's not pure bash, it's pure pleasure, and it gives a great feeling to me. It's not without its flaws, and I've written extensive notes which I'll attempt not to fuck up, as I usually do, because I am a rank amateur. But we'll start off with unboxing this wonderful watch, and look at the lovely presentation case you get from our Swiss friends at Doxa. Let's open off the lid. It's a cardboard affair, but it's done very well, and so we're quite happy about it. You get a lovely front flap, as you always should with a good watch box, and inside you will get a few things. You'll get Doxa's warranty card, which as you can see, I purchased this watch at Francis and Gay of Coventry from a lovely man called Mr. Ryan, who is one of the nicest people I've ever met in the jewellery game. He does not fuck about. He's a true psychopath and an enthusiast, not like your usual jewellers. No ego at all, and more than happy to let you try on watches he knows you can never afford, with great patience and understanding, and for that I thank him eternally. Thank you, Ryan and Sherry, for being so lovely to us, me and my partner Sari, when we visited you yesterday. So you get the book there, and you get the lovely floating Doxa zip-up case, and isn't it smart? It really is. And I hope when I open it, the box is still in position, because I've just shaken it about. The watch is in position, but I'll open it up on camera. So let's see inside. What's in there? Oh, no, it's not too bad. But look at that. Behold, the massive Doxa Sub 1500T Searambler dial. Take it off this rather strange thing and open up the bracelet. Let's open him up. Now, I've just washed this, so some of it might be still a bit wet. I hope it isn't. And before I do that, I'll just put my little black Ed Hicks towel down here. Nano fiber towel. Bring him back into frame. And what else you get in the box is a funny little sponge, which is a lovely sponge, and like a spongy sponge, and it's very good. Not sure what it's for. And you also get the Doxa lanyard, which I don't know what it's for either, but it's very nice, and a beautiful hang tag, which was on the clasp. Very nice. And also this micro sponge, which is somewhat smoother than the initial sponge, and again, I have no idea what it's for. Probably some kind of polishing device. A tablet of desiccant, which I will eat immediately to desiccate the contents of my stomach. And the spare links, of course. I didn't need to remove any because I am beefed, but there are 2 spare ones here. I didn't remove them, I really didn't. And that's what you get in the box. Aside from that, you will get something else, which is this. The Doxa Sub 1500T Searambler. This watch retails at £2,290, and I tried to polish it, but it seems already that it's been smudged, which is quite disappointing. It's so shiny that it needs constant attention to stop it from being unsightly. But there we go. What a freak! I think you'll agree. A true mammoth, and I will get into its size and dimensions. I'm afraid this review might be quite long. I've written extensive notes, but I'll try not to sneeze and cough my way through them as I usually do. It's a stainless steel case, measuring in at 45 millimeters diameter. A lug-to-lug of 47 millimeters is really quite short and makes it quite wearable for anybody, I would say, with a wrist of a minimum size of 7 inches. Below that, it is so thick and massive that it might look a bit clown-like upon your spaghettified tagliatelle nagdastecs. But don't worry, most of us can wear this. It's just a question of whether you like to wear something this big or not. It has a huge height, which it's listed at 16 millimeters, but I have a caliper here and I will measure it, or try to measure it on camera. I measured it at 16.6 or 7. Get to the middle. There we go. That's not the middle. There. That is 16.6, and that is the same height as the height you will find on my biggest watch. Well, I mean, these guys compare well, but this is the Orient Saturation Diver. You've all seen it before. It's a complete spastic, but he measures in at an identical height of 16.6 or 7. So it is a very tall watch. Bear that in mind if you don't like a flopper, because he'll flop. Let me tell you that now. He will flop around. Let's get him the right way up. Orientation is a key. But, a lug width as well here was quite strange, of 21 millimeters. Rather unusual lug spacing has been featured by Doxa. Not sure why. And it doesn't look like it tapers, but actually, in actual fact, it tapers down to 20 millimeters at this exceptional clasp, which I'll discuss later, which flares back out to 22 millimeters. And that's what we have there. Now, the depth rating is alluded to in the name of the model. Sub 1500. It's a 1500 meter or 150 atmospheres depth rated diver. Rather strange, and this is one of the few things, and there are a few things about this watch that have confused me, because on the case back, as you can hopefully clearly see, it states 160 atmospheres, which is 1,600 meters. I don't know what's going on there. I found other videos of this watch and they all either don't state anything, all the reviews say 150. This is 160, so I have no idea what's going on there. And I'm somewhat confused about it. I'm confused easily. I'm not known for my intelligence, but in this case, it really is confusing. Thank you, Doxa, for being so murky with your explanations of the watch. And the movement, that's not the only thing I'm confused about, because the movement is unspecified on the website, and it is listed as a Swiss mechanical automatic self-winding movement decorated by Doxa, which is great. And all the reviews I've been able to find claim that it's an ETA 2892 A2 movement, which is a great movement, a bit better than the 2824 of my lovely sub 300, which we'll do some side by side with later. And others claim it is a Soprod A10, which is from the Festina family. Both great movements and similar in specs. But Doxa state it has a 50-hour power reserve, 28.8 thousand vibrations per hour, and 25 joules. Whilst the ETA has 21 joules and a 42-hour power reserve. So I have no idea what's in the watch, and it does piss me off a lot. I don't like it when watch manufacturers do this, and I believe they should state exactly what is in the case. As short of emailing Doxa for a definitive answer, I have no idea what's in there. I have a feeling it's a 2892, but 2892 doesn't have 50 hours, as far as I know. I'm not an expert, and it doesn't have 25 joules, so it's all a bit confusing. But I'd like to get that out of the way first. I'm trying to make this look good while reading my notes. Look at this thing. It's an absolute gigantor, a freak on the wrist for the beach. Keith, you know what's up. It is for the beach, and clearly designed for you, my main man, who can descend to depths previously unbeknownst to man. I told you I wouldn't cough. So let's get on with it and move into the breakdown of all the elements of the watch. And this watch is a freak. So, what is it? It's the big boy in the Doxa lineup. It really is. I mean, look at it compared to this little gimp. He's a bit faggy, but we love him. Everyone has it, and we wouldn't be without him. But look at him compared to this megalith, some sort of prehistoric slab. Absolutely gigantic. But Mr. SKX is quite happy there. And look how I've managed to exactly match his non-hacking seconds hand to the Doxa's. Very clever of me. Very clever indeed. It won't be for everyone due to its massive size, weight, which is a lot, and thickness, let alone its looks. You will either love or hate this watch. But I love it, but it's undeniably an eye-catching piece. And in the short time I've had it, I've really noticed. I went to Tesco today and I noticed everyone looking at it, or at least I wanted them to look at it, but they did. They were really looking at it. And whether that's because it's a big shiny show-off or they thought it looked crap, I don't know. But I saw a lot of people, specifically men, eyeballing this twerp from afar. It really, you can see it from 25 miles away. Probably can see it from 100 years ago. It's that big and shiny. And if that's the sort of thing you like, then you'll love this watch. Only the 4000T, there's a sub 4000T model from Doxa, and that's the only watch bigger than this in their lineup. But it is only produced periodically and in limited runs, and with fewer dial options available. I think is usually orange and black. And it's much more expensive, over £1,000 more expensive. And I did try one on yesterday at Francis and Gay. They did have one, and I loved it, but it was so massive and heavy. I think it's 47 millimeters, and it's some huge 17 millimeter thick. And the bracelet isn't the typical Doxa. It has a massive polished sensor link, which is scratched all over the place. Very nice, and it also has a power reserve indicator on the dial, which says "safe dive," which is a bit faggy to me, but I did love it. And it also has a sapphire bezel. But this watch is a lot more expensive, and interestingly, it also has a lower depth rating than this watch. This is a 1500, or is it 1600 meters depth rating? I don't know. That one has a 1200 meters, only 1200 meters, which is the same as this sub 300, which is far smaller. So I don't know. Doxa's quite confusing with their specifics sometimes, and they get people all riled up with their explanations. But yes. Now, we will talk about the case. The case, I mean, as all of you know, anyone who knows divers knows about Doxa. The case is stainless steel, 316 cell. It features lovely satinized radial brushing all around the top of the case. It's lovely and extremely well done, and all remaining areas are high polished. Absolutely beautiful. There's not a lot of detail, not a lot of technical stuff. It's not a Marine Master. You know, there's no beveling here. It's just stark. But look how well it's done. The polishing under the bezel, which we'll talk about. And there we are with this high polished bezel, and the case back is all high polish with this lovely wave effect inside the embossed Jenny family logo, not the Doxa logo. That's another point we can discuss. It's very well done with this slotted crown, and look at that crown. Slotted crown displaying the Jenny family logo painted on in orange in a slight recess there. So no crown guards are needed. It's recessed into the case, and it is the most pleasant crown to action. It's so smooth. You hear that pop? And it just straight back in. It's no Seiko crown, trust me guys. I love Seiko, but this is a different thing. And the winding was very smooth, and you can hardly feel it wind. You have to put it to your ear to hear the clicks, and that makes me think it is an ETA 2892. And the bracelet here, look at this thing. It is fixed to the case extremely securely with no spring bars. We've got screws fixing the bracelet to the case. But I've heard that the thickness of these screws is one of the things that makes it very difficult to change out the strap on this. I mean, I wouldn't want to wear a 16.5mm thick watch on a NATO. It's just going to make it taller. But I will. I mean, the bracelet is so good. I will never be changing it, I don't think. Of course, Doxa's rubber strap option is exceptionally good, and I'd love to buy it. But these Swiss testies are very greedy, and they want to charge you £420 for an FKM rubber strap with a clasp, same as this, or you can buy just the rubber alone. So a rubber strap with no clasp, they want £240 for that. It's ridiculous. Get rid of them immediately. Moving on, we have the Doxa Bezel, which is one of a kind. And I will mention one glaring flaw with this particular one, which if you haven't already noticed, I will tell you about later. But it is one of the best bezels you will ever experience at any price range. Unidirectional with 120 clicks, almost nothing on the back play. It really is fantastic. Very unique, nothing else like it, and it's probably the grippiest bezel I've ever felt, with these sawtooth protrusions that sort of hang over the edge of this high polished lower ring in the most wonderful way. There's nothing like it in the dive watch game as far as I know. Doxa is known for their bezels and their bracelets, and it is just a thing of absolute pleasure. Pure pash, it is not. The top of the bezel is also unique to Doxa. It features a high polished outer ring, which everybody who's owned one will know is an absolute scratch bastard. You will scratch it immediately. I mean, there's no way to stop it. You have to be so careful with them. You can get them with paint on if you don't like it, but I love this traditional style. But it does scratch, so there's no point trying to stop that happening. But it has a lovely orange painted, and it's rather strange. The inner bezel here, you have two bezels. The inner one is brushed in black with a black pip, and that denotes the elapsed time, as you can see, like a normal dive bezel. The outer one, the polished one, comes in orange, and this orange pip is loomed, and this denotes the depth of your dive in feet. It's a decompression table, and I think it shows how long you can stay at a certain depth without decompression. It's all totally pointless, but it looks amazing, and it's a hallmark of the brand. So I suppose you could say, I don't know, you're at 5 minutes at 150 feet or whatever. You can stay that long down there without decompression, or you could be at 40 minutes at 80 feet. I think that's how it works. I'm not a diver. I mean, for fuck's sake, guys. Who cares? But it looks freaky. But back in the 60s and 70s, I mean, this was a legit tool before dive computers, and, people would use these things. I believe they would. Jacques Cousteau, US Navy, everybody else. Doxa is a legit hardcore diver's brand. Just like the Seikos and all the other freaky watches, they were used by real divers at one time. Of course, not anymore. Unless in a recreational manner. Now, moving on to the crystal, and I haven't really shown you this yet. Look at this. The crystal. Look at the state of that. What kind of distortion is that? Warped. It's a time warp. Absolutely fucked up on a daily. It is just not an ordinary timepiece. You can tell from this effect that this is a very thick crystal, massively thick, and it would have to be to accommodate the depth rating they've assigned to it. From straight on, it looks perfectly clear. I mean, the watch looks almost like one of those oil-filled Zins. It's really clear. There's no reflections on the dial. But from the side, and it is domed slightly, as you can see there, it just, other than straight on, it's a phenomenal distortion. And I say, with this top of the dome, it's 16.6 millimeters of thickness. Same as the mighty OSD. Inferior in every way, but superior in many. But I love it. I'll shut up about it. Always bringing it out in every review. Sorry about that. This watch is no joke. Next step is the bracelets. And Doxa's bracelets, they're head and shoulders above anything else in the price point. And pretty much any price point. They are just sublime. They just make the best bracelets probably I've ever seen. And I'll bring out Mr. 300T, and let's take him off the cushion for a closer look, everybody. And look at the state of him. Of course, he has the ubiquitous Doxa lauded beads of rice, which is really fantastic, and sometimes I wish this one had the same, but it doesn't. But it's a similar 5-link bracelet. I mean, this is a 5-link engineer style bracelet. Sorry. It's a 5-link engineer style piece, and the first, third and fifth links are satinized, brushed links, and the second and fourth are high polished links. And I'll try to, of course, nothing's ever as good as you see it in real life, but look at that. It is excellent. It's all screwed links. Machined to perfection, solid links, solid end links, and it is just a beautiful bracelet. Compare it to this beads of rice on the 300. I mean, they're both great. This is really Doxa, but it's a scaled up version of this in every way other than the bracelet. You can see a size comparison. You can see how much bigger it is. And thickness comparison here with the, holy moly, it's a big watch. It really is, guys. A behemoth upon your spaghetti. It do not fuck about. The clasp here, clasp are the same. And you'll get these clasps on the sub 1500, the sub 300, the 300, and the 4000T. They're the best clasp Doxa do, and they have an on-the-fly ratcheting dive extension. Still wet, just cleaned it. Great extension. Any extension that comes on the fly, in other words, you can open it up while you're wearing it without taking the watch off, is a big plus for me. High polished flanks, brushed top, with the Doxa Jennyfish logo, Doxa there, double deployant, and this thing is fully milled out. There's no pressed shell. Even the shell is milled. You can feel that quality, the thickness. The swing arm is milled, and it's very nicely done. Let me take off this Seiko here, put him down, and try this thing on. It is just something else. Just something else. There we go, on my 7.2-ish inch wrist. You can see the 47 lug to lug makes it very wearable, but the thickness, it's not a fucking joke, guys. Helium escape. What do we think about that? Do we like it? Everybody knows we do. And the Sub 300, I will put on my other arm, other wrist, and there we go with them both. What a pair. What a pair. Thickness difference is quite stark and obvious to everybody. This whole watch is almost, I've said it before, it's an exact replica of the Sub 300. I think it's been beefed up on some sort of androgen matrix and some peptides, maybe a bit of insulin as well. I don't know, but it's really a big fucker. This is the scale down. This one is natty. Stay natty, bro. He's okay. He's not taking anything. Just pumping some irons, some chicken and rice, nothing much too heavy. But you know, 1500, he got in front of the mirror, he had bigorexia, and he said, fuck that shit, bros. I need to get bigger. So he pumped up. You know, he may pay the price one day, but for now, he's the biggest man in the room. And that's what we all want to be, right, babe? Shut the fuck up. And where can we go from that? We haven't talked about the dial. The dial, take it off again. What a dickhead. The dial here is really something. It's flat and aesthetically sparse. The Searambler colour is a silvery white, and it's fucking beautiful. It's apparently the second most popular in the Doxa lineup, and it's great. It tells you only what you need to know. Logo, model, and name are printed asymmetrically in the south, in the north and southeast quadrants respectively, all marked off with subtle crosshairs. Rectangular indexes will induce no confusion about the watch's orientation, and the massive orange minute hand and tiny black hour hand belie this twerp's true purpose, with a framed date window at 9 o'clock. Negatives on the watch, and there are some, is the 21mm bracelet size, and unfortunately the slightly misaligned bezel, which I probably haven't noticed yet, but now I point it out to you, you'll spot it immediately. It is slightly misaligned, and Francis and Gay have kindly offered me, they will send it back to Doxa for me, but it's very slight. Sub 300 is absolutely bang on. All the 1500s I've seen have exactly the same problem, and I went into the shop and tried every dial variant on, and they all suffered the same problem, so it's clearly a thing. And that's it. Aside from that, the only other negative is the absolutely crap loom, which I will show you now. Here we are. And this is finished. This is a very long video. I didn't realise it had run on so long, but I will just show you a loom shot. Here we go, guys. Looks alright now, but give it a few minutes and this loom will look absolutely crap. But it's freaky as fuck. Look at those orange pips. Everybody loves it. Get rid of yourself.